Welcome back to the early and unexpected second half of our Higurashi experience tonight. Weren't expecting a second half, were you? Well, as I thought, everyone was staring and with their mouths open in shock. I mean, we did just reveal a massive government conspiracy theory to weaponize a disease possessed only by people in Hinamizawa, and that has resulted in the assassinations of Tomitake and possibly Takano, as well as potentially Dr. Eri, and they'll all be murdered since they now found out. Bit of a crazy conspiracy theory, especially considering the disease she mentioned makes people paranoid. Kind of funny to be like, well, this disease makes you paranoid. Anyway, so I'm paranoid these 50 bajillion people are going to kill me, and there's a massive government conspiracy and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'd be crazy about that. All right. Even Uishi wouldn't believe a story like this. It's only normal. I'm sure I sound like a crazy person. Satoku, we go to the clinic every week to help with Erie's research, right? But we're actually not just helping him. We go there so you can get treatment. Oh, I remember. You told me Satoku was ill. Me? Me? Oh, as you said, it's not only me, but the whole village is infected with this disease. Wait, how would I have to take the shot every day and not everyone else? I thought it was just a new type of vitamin the coach is developing. At one point, you were a terminal patient, Satoku. That's why you need 2 shots every day to keep your symptoms under control. He's very passionate about saving you, but he still can't find a better treatment than that. Don't think he's not still working hard to find a cure. Don't joke around like that. I thought we were getting financial support by aiding his research. I don't want to get the shots every day for the rest of my life. Satoko looked upset. She had been completely ignorant of all this. She also didn't want to accept the reality of having to manage her condition. Her fake laughter sadly echoed in everyone's ears. Keiichi opened his mouth to speak. So, if she misses a shot, she'll react like she did the other day? There was a day where she forgot to take her shot thanks to her uncle, yep. She convinced herself the principal was her uncle. Her fear escalated and she thought her uncle came inside the school to take her back home. Once she feels that way, there's no turning back for her. Well, that's why I tell her to be sure to take her shot every day. I don't believe you. What do you mean I'm a terminal patient? I'm me, exactly. I refuse to believe it. How did I become so sick? Satoko's face contorted as tears began to flow from her eyes. I shouldn't have said this. Satoko is starting to remember something she is not supposed to. Sorry, Satoko. You don't have to remember it. It was just an accident. It wasn't your fault. It's a lie. You're just lying to us. You're just lying to us, Copium. Yeah, okay. The others probably had no idea what Satoko was talking about. They don't need to know. They don't want to know about it because they're her friends. Randa gently touched Satoko's shoulder. She gently touched mine, too. I believe your story, Rika. And you've been carrying such a heavy burden for a long time. I'm so proud of you. You've been struggling all alone to this day. I never thought Reyna would say something like that to me. My eyes were filling up with tears. It seems more and more likely that this goes badly at some point. It's difficult to have a secret you can't tell people. Mine was hardly a big deal compared to yours, but I can still sympathize with you. I agree. Well, you've done your best too, sis. I often shift the blame onto you to relieve myself, so I can tell. You're all gonna believe my story? Of course, we said we would. It's been a relief since a lot of my questions about this village are answered now. Is everyone in this village infected by the disease, that Hinamizawa syndrome? Yes, everyone's infected. Unlike hundreds of years ago, the disease is much weaker now. That's why people can survive even if they move far away. It's the brain parasite plan. Literally the brain parasite plot with Rika at the center. Why people survive even when they move far away? Go somewhere far for sure. Time to work. Catch you later, dude. Have a good day at work. Some people still get sick, right? I'll never leave this village again. When you do get sick, you can still control the illness yourself. It's very simple, yet difficult. If you think you might be suspicious of someone, don't be. Just don't be paranoid. Continue to trust him. When you become too suspicious of someone or That suspicion will degenerate into a persecution complex and it'll be too late. As long as everyone stays friendly and united, we'll never have to worry about this disease. As long as everyone's friends and united, that's easy. The disease starts with anxiety. Just don't be anxious. Easy. Modern people don't believe in curses the way people long ago did. That might be why we're more tolerant to disease. I see. We should be fine. You should be fine in theory. Yep. We're friends and family. We'd never suspect each other. I'm gonna believe everything you said today. Couldn't talk because you're afraid the mountain dogs that hurt us, right? I nodded quietly. I don't want to think the mountain dogs have bugged this room. But if Okonogi overhears this, they'll definitely kill not only me but all my friends tonight. It's true no matter who my enemy is. Well, it sounds as if we should all get ready for battle. Let's sum up the story. Someone might come and kill you, knowing your death will cause chaos and destruction in the village. Is that correct? Definitely come for me. Are you sure? They get rid of their trump card that easily? He's quite right. A trump card's like a pile of gold. Isn't it better to keep your hands on it? Satoko's eyes were still swollen, but she stopped crying. Think about it, Satoko. If you have more than one trump card, you'd want to play one of them right away. That's true. It's more effective to have more than one hostage. One hostage is not as valuable as many of them. Anyway, we don't know anything for sure. That means we can't be too optimistic. Everyone nodded in unison. Alright. Think about the mountain dogs. Do you think they're our allies or enemies? That's not a question. They're like wolves trying to watch after the sheep. Mion's convinced. Think of all the suspicious people as bad guys. We need to seek help from someone who has nothing to do with Tokyo. I agree. I think you made a good choice by seeking help from the police. Ueshi's on our side, right? Ueshi doesn't know everything yet, so he thinks the culprit behind the curse is targeting me. I think you should talk to Ueshi too. We need help from someone else. Yeah, a few. You got like 20. Yeah, like 20 special forces. Good luck. Pretty risky. What if they don't believe her and step away from the investigation? Well, we should still talk to him. He said he's gonna retire this year. It's his last chance to avenge his old friend. I'm sure he'll believe any story, no matter how wild. And you guys are gonna sell him on some crazy shit. Yeah, he helped us when we were trying to save Toko too. I think he'll remain on our side. Okay, let's talk to Ueshi. Where is he now? Getting proof. In Gifu Prefecture. We went to check on Takano's body. Oh. He was found in Gifu, right? Burned to death inside an oil drum? Why does he have to go there to directly check on him? There's a possibility it might not be Takano's body. But the Gifu Police Department isn't being cooperative. You said the mountain dogs specialize in preserving secrets and manipulating information, right? That corpse is pretty suspicious. I don't think she's the kind of person who just die from being burned a little. It's possible Irie's the bad guy and he killed Takano. That's why Okanogi tried to make me believe. I doubt the coach is the mastermind. He's not that kind of person. Yeah, most people can tell he's not that kind of guy. I agree. He's very nice as long as you don't let him talk about maids. As the manager of Hanami's Oa Fighters, I also think the coach is innocent. Unofficial manager? You're not an official manager. He's more like someone who could easily be used if he's too good of a guy. Seems like everyone suspects Takano. Well, we're just saying, if we compare the coach and Takano, you know. Yeah, you do know. Takano would be pretty upset to hear that. She'd also like it. I think she'd like it. She's the kind of person who's obsessed with the occult and murders or torturous rituals. She'd probably laugh at this. Everyone laughed as though we were in the middle of a club activity. If they're after my life, they'll kill everyone here. It's very possible they all get involved with this mess, and they know that. They could still laugh. That they can still laugh at all is significant, I think. I started laughing along, too. Oh, Takano's body was found in Gifu. If someone wanted to make it look like she killed Tomatake, they'd hide her body somewhere no one would ever find. Burning your body in the middle of the woods is like begging people to come across it. Yeah, it makes sense. It's like they're trying to force an unidentified body to be Takano just because it was found inside the prefecture and the police can't investigate further. That's the specialty of the mountain dogs, right? think it's pretty obvious at this point. The mountain dogs are working for Takano, right? And the leader of the dogs is saying the manager is pulling the strings. I bet Takano and them are working together. I mean, that only makes sense. It's pretty straightforward, but Tomitake died the same way. What he did so Coach would be suspected. But Tokyo is the only organization who would suspect the coach. They also found the body of the true mastermind, Takano. Tokyo will suspect the manager killed both of them. A well-planned setup. Although it's not far from perfect. Sounds like the mountain dogs are setting the coach up. They're trying. Well, I think we should talk to Coach directly. That's the best way to go about it. Good idea. I can tell if he's telling the truth or not just by looking at his eyes. Yeah, you're good at that, Reina-san. The mountain dogs are running security on Erie right now. You might not be able to get on the phone. What? That sounds even more suspicious. I hope Coach isn't in danger right now. Me too. If I was a member of the dogs and I was gonna set him up, I'd kill him before he said something I didn't want him to say. That person can't say anything. Ueshi will return as soon as he takes care of business in Gifu. I don't know what time it'll be, but it'll be here for sure. As one, everyone glanced at the clock. It was past 6:30 and starting to get dark. No wonder I'm hungry. We'd usually call it here if it was a normal day, but everyone decided to stay until Ueshi came back and discuss what to do. Use your phone, Rika. I need to call my dad, but I'm gonna be late tonight. I need to call my mom, too. Oh, I'll call Granny and tell her to order something for dinner tonight. Okay. You'll be in big trouble later. We have to get something to eat for those officers, too. We can order some sushi. Everyone had a sensitive reaction to the word sushi. Their stomachs were empty, after all. The same should be true of those officers, too. Are we going to order something too, Rika? I don't feel like we have that kind of money. Toko, why don't you cook a stir-fry for everyone? What? I can't. I've never cooked for this many people. Well, figure it out. The Toko stir-fry? I'd love to try it, as long as there's no fingers inside. Toko, I want to eat your food too. And at that point, the phone rang. Hello, this is Furude speaking. Glad to hear you're alive. It's Ueshi. I've finished up everything in Gifu. I'm heading towards Okonomiya now. I'm calling from the gas station. What about Takano's body? We did it. We were right. Gifu made one incredible easy mistake on their paperwork. What a stubborn bunch. I really had to let them have it, let me tell you. Takano and her vehicle are still missing. She might have some information regarding Tomitake's murder, so I've issued a search warrant for her. I'm getting close to revealing the secret of the curse of Oyashiro-sama. I'm gonna solve this case. Ueshi sounded so motivated. He'd finally found the hint he so desperately wanted. Could he actually solve the case, though? Looking forward to hearing your story. I'm heading to your house with Kuma-chan. Please tell us whatever you know. You can talk to me about anything you can think of. Yes, I'm ready to tell you about everything. Oh my, I look forward to hearing it. I should be there in about an hour. It sounds crowded over there. Are your friends there with you? Yes, everyone came here to offer their help. I see, you've got some wonderful friends. And also, it's going to be a real mess to clean up if there's like 5 more bodies. It's probably better for you to stay with them. Good way to keep criminals at bay. Right, we're headed out. I'll see you soon. Was that Ueshi? Yeah, he's headed this way with the other detective. Well, we might make it out of here alive. This is the first time this room will have so many people in it. How many people at least? There's 6 of us. 8 people? I hope our floor doesn't break. I'm the 9th person. Anya, are you listening to us? This turned out to be very interesting. You think it'll be different this time? Yes, I'm sure. This time is different. She's too positive. It's gonna fail, and she's gonna be like, I was so close. Let's say you're sure. It would devastate you if nothing ended up changing. So, Han, you still think I'm dying today? I want you to die. I know what you're thinking. You don't want to believe because you don't want to be hurt. That way, you'll never be let down. I'm not going to listen to your opinions anymore. You just stay there and watch, like the bystander you are. Yeah, I'm just a bystander. But I'm still rooting for you. Rooting for me? Oh, thanks. You sure you want to root for me? Are you sure you won't be hurt if I lose? Don't be mean, Rika. We had a rather harmonious mood going. However, a feeling of unease was beginning to settle over us. I don't think they have enough information on what they're dealing with, or enough firepower if they decide to go in. They need to find a way to hold the... to catch them red-handed? Or effectively take their organization hostage, and they don't have any leverage other than the number of bodies that the organization has to leave. It's very concerning. I think this still ends badly. It's not the right kind of leverage. These guys didn't want to invade because the police are watching, but that was only because they didn't want to give themselves away. Maybe they stopped. Getting hungry. Want to grab some on the way? Oh, right, it's almost 8. We had a late lunch today, I didn't realize. We can get something after we finish hearing her story. We sent 4 officers there. They're probably worn out by now. Hopefully Furude ordered them something to eat. Ushi and Kumagai passed through Okonomiya and were getting closer and closer to Hinamizawa. They hurried on their way, driving through the dark streets. I wonder what Rika wants to talk to you about. Probably something outrageous. That village, you know, it used to be called Onagafuchi. They took the name Onagafuchi, Demon's Abyss, from the local swamp. Like an abyss, it's hard to know its depth. What are you planning to do about her protection? Well, depending on what she tells us, we might move her to a safer location. The whole of Hinamizawa is like a lion's den. You never know what can happen in that village. For now, we just need to hear what she has to say. The head of the family's in danger, and the successor of the Sonozaki is trying to protect her. Who would even be capable of killing Rika under those circumstances? The only people I can think of are the Kimiyoshis. Oh, you got bad news, buddy. Kimiyoshi's literally like 2 guys. I never heard them getting up to anything fishy. I guess there must be a fanatical religious sect in the village? Wonder what secret lies at the bottom of that swamp. The road they were on was cutting through the rice fields, leading them to pass by the scene of Jiro Tomitake's murder. Kano left Tomitake there, I'm sure of that, but I wonder what he actually died of. Forensics didn't find drugs in his system, did they? They didn't find anything, but it doesn't prove it either way. There are hundreds of strange chemicals in this world. There's no proof a drug wasn't used. It must just be the one that we're not aware of. I'm sure of that. There's got to be a drug out there that can make someone claw out their own throat and die. Surely. I'm gonna grill the culprit about this once I make that arrest. Of course, it'd be easier if that's what Rika's gonna tell me. Kuma, you must have learned exactly how false charges are made, seeing what happened in Gifu today. Oh my goodness, that was horrible. If that guy was at our station, I'd never forgive him. He flat out refused to admit he made a mistake. The Gifu Police Department as a whole is still convinced the body belongs to Mio, who will operate under the assumption she lives. On top of the top of the department will make the final decision. It's obvious they made a simple mistake. They're just desperately covering up because they'll be in trouble if they admit it. They really need to rethink their attitude. The car suddenly shook. The concrete road ended, leaving only gravel, meaning they are halfway between Okonomiya and Hinamizawa. But strangely enough, we've had a cutover to their perspective. Will we even see the perspective of Rika? I don't know if we'll even see Rika's next perspective. She might already be dead. At the point where the gravel road begins, you're officially in Hinamizawa. They continue to drive through the woods for a while. Kuma-chan, stop the car. What? Uishi told him to stop immediately. Kumagai quickly slammed on the brakes. Their seatbelts tightened up, keeping them in their seats. What's wrong? That car. I wonder what it's doing. Uishi tapped on the rearview mirror. There was a van parked just off the road. Rather beat up, it looked like it was used for a private company. There was no reason for someone to park their car there. Oh, well, Uishi's dead. Are we thinking Uishi's dead? This is so sus. Is this a car bomb or an assassin? Let's see. So it's used by a private company. This is probably the gardening van, and there's like a couple guys waiting to gun Uishi down because they called the police. And they said they were gonna go. So they said they were going to go in regardless, right? So if they're going in, even with like 4 police officers there, I mean, he might be okay, but this is the first time he's stopped on the road for something suspicious, and they gave us his perspective. This has got to go wrong here, right? Either they're gonna find basically nothing, and it'll be a distraction, and it'll come upon Rika's body, or they're gonna die here. Although we haven't seen Uishi die yet, actually, so maybe he doesn't die and he just gets held up. Let's see. So someone parked their car in the middle of nowhere. Kumagai also thought it looked suspicious. The car seemed empty, but there was a light flashing in the woods nearby. Probably a flashlight. Strange van out here at this hour. I'm surprised you even saw it. Like I keep telling you, a detective always gotta pay attention to his surroundings. I wonder what he's doing there. Is he dumping something illegally? Is he dumping someone's body? Maybe it's a pair of lovebirds on a secret date. Well, that can't be it, judging from the van. Hello, Okinomi Security, do you read me? Good evening, good night. This is Okinomi Security, reading loud and clear. I need a license number scanned, XXXXXXX. That's XXXX. Oh, it might take a while. We'll wait. Uishi, according to this map, there's a facility of, Nippon Telegraph and Telephone Corporation here. The world's a facility of the NTT. It was listed as a facility, but it wasn't staffed. It was a place where machines were installed. Kumagai wasn't sure how telephone lines actually work, but either way, it seems a connecting device was located there. Just an ordinary van. It doesn't look like it belongs to them. If it is then, shouldn't their name be on the van? Maybe some other company is contracted to do it? Anyway, we should just go and ask. Uishi wasn't sure if that was the case. After all, why would any phone company go to do maintenance so late at night? I mean, if you're having a phone outage, you usually do it when there's nobody using the phones. Let's go and check what's going on. Fruit is waiting for us, so we need to be fast. Sir. His well-honed detective instinct was trying to tell him something. This feeling wasn't one Uishi could easily explain. He had a strong sense that something was suspicious, without any real reasoning behind it. He trusted he could judge others' character with that sense. Nightingale 2 to Nightingale 1. A vehicle stopped nearby. 2 people got out. They're probably police officers. Approaching. They'll make contact in less than a minute. It was pitch black. They could see the 2 newcomers clearly. They are probably using a night vision scope. Roger. Attention all units. Nightingales 2 through 5, wait for green light. Nightingales 7 and 8, make sure the surrounding 100 meters are clear. Roger. Nightingale 4 and 5, do you copy? Nightingale 4, roger. Nightingale 5, roger. Nightingale 7, roger. Nightingale 8, roger. This is Nightingale from HQ. Nightingale from HQ. There's been some trouble during the modification of the phone facility. There's 2 police detectives. We request clearance to open fire. Roger, wait for the order. By the time Uishi and Kumagai reached the facility, they were being watched from all directions. There were 2 pairs of binoculars, and 2 sniper rifles pointed at them. The Mountain Dog operatives worked in 2-man units, a sniper and spotter, to secure the means of retreat. They'd all taken different positions so they could shoot Uishi no matter where he tried to run. They were all in camouflage, hiding deep in the woods. Uishi, of course, had no chance of spotting them. The snipers had their rifles trained on the detectives' heads. Uishi and Kumagai had no idea they were on the verge of losing their lives. The rifles had their safeties on, but a flick of their thumbs would release them. In other words, they're ready to shoot if given the order. So I'm curious how how Team Uishi is, Team Rika is going to beat, there's 20 on the grounds guarding Furude, as well as another 4 to 8 in the area of the road. So they have to somehow kill 30 special forces by themselves. That's gonna be a tough one. That's gonna be a tall fucking order, man. In other words, they're ready to shoot if given the order. The detectives found the fenced-in machinery right behind the parked van. It was a sign there saying, property of Nippon Telegraph and Telephone Corporation. And another sign warning people to keep away. Hello and good evening. Sorry, could you step back? We're in the middle of a maintenance operation. There were 4 men working there wearing blue overalls. They had a toolbox open and were working on some wires. Sorry to interrupt. We're from the police. We were wondering what you guys were doing, since it's strange to see a van parked out here. Oh, good evening, officers. We're almost finished here. So who are you guys? You're not from the NTT, are you? Oh no, we're not. We're from Okinogi Electrics. Huh? Oh, sorry, I'm out of business cards. Okinogi Electrics. Where's your office located? Well, it's in Okinomiya. Could you give me the phone number and address of your office? Why do you want to know? You forgot the telephone number? Uishi looked at them with a piercing glare. Their response was suspicious. Usually the vehicle of an electric company is full of various types of electrical equipment and repair tools. Their van was basically empty. It's pretty suspicious, right? The van parked there had nothing inside. It looked like an ordinary car, and a company vehicle usually has the name of a company on it. This one's just a plain van with no markings on it. Or in this case, from what I can tell, that's... Oh, that might be Ushi's car, actually. Never mind. That might be Ushi's car. None of that was the reason Ushi found them suspicious, though. It was their attitude that bothered him. They didn't sound or look like your typical contractors. They were obviously not electricians. It was too late in the day, and there were too many of them. They were also clearly suspicious of Ushi. However, that was all he could tell by looking around. Found them suspicious, but had no idea what they're up to. One of the men told Ueshi the phone number. Himagai wrote down the number so he could ask the station to call and confirm it's real. We're not doing anything suspicious. You guys are suspicious. Who are you? You're really a contractor. You should have proof of that, but you don't have anything. Besides, everything about you seems off. Officer, please don't cause us any trouble. Just leave us alone. We need to finish our job here. Judging from their progress, it didn't look like they'd be cleaning up anytime soon. In fact, it almost seemed like they're just getting started. Well, it's obvious you're lying, son. You should have studied your role better if you want to pretend to be an electrician. Ushi raised his voice threateningly. The members of the Mountain Dogs started to look more and more annoyed. Ushi looked over their expressions and gave them a big, wide grin. However, Ueshi had no idea. He thought he could handle these suspicious people with no issues. But in reality, they were horrific demons he had no chance against. Meanwhile, Kumagai was heading back to the car. He was intending to contact the police. He's gonna call the station using the radio. In turn, the police would contact the NTT, and in that way it would become clear who they were really dealing with. HQ to Nightingale 1, you have permission to fire. Nightingale 7 clear, Nightingale 8 clear. So there are 12 people? There are 12 people currently involved in their hostile operation, as well as an operator. The sniper was still aiming at Kimagai's head as he headed back towards the car. The safety, that last line protecting his life, was disengaged. The sniper put his finger on the trigger. He was wearing a glove with the fingertips cut out. The finger poking through the hole was rough and merciless. As soon as he slightly moved the finger, he'd take someone's life. Nightingale 1 to Sniper Team, all green. Himagai heard a quiet noise, similar to the sound of the jump rope he used as a whip when he was little, and that was the last thought he had in the world. He collapsed onto the gravel, and that was it. He didn't even twitch. Ueshi was laying on his back in the concrete after getting shot in the chest. His lungs were filled with blood which began to pour out of his mouth. And he only realized he'd been shot when the world began to blur before his eyes. And as his world keeled over, he saw a man in a work uniform leveling a gun at him, but it didn't matter, as he started drowning in his own blood. So they have to kill, so how is Ueshi gonna get through, 20 soldiers by himself? This is Okonomiya Security. And they're all special forces, so they're gonna be better than, a riot squad. I don't think he can call in anybody better than this. Even the guys from Reina's team were an anti-terrorist group? They're just gonna die in droves? Even if they had, twice the numbers, and they only had, a handful of guys. They had, maybe 10? They need to kill 30 plus? They need to kill 30 plus concealed snipers with top-of-the-line equipment? They need to kill 30 plus soldiers with, top-of-the-line equipment? That seems, really iffy. Okonomiya Security, we scanned the license plate lever. Detective Ueshi? Detective Ueshi, please come in. Did we lose the signal? Detective Ueshi, please come in. He's not answering. Ueshi wanted a plate number scanned? Whose car? It's a village car. No one special. Who is it? It must be someone suspicious if Ueshi is asking about it. Seems like no one out of the ordinary. No accidents? No tickets? Probably got pissed the car passed her or something. Can be a stubborn guy sometimes. This is Nightingale. Targets eliminated. Resuming mission. Roger. Be sure to dispose of their vehicle. Major, Nightingale terminated 2 officers. They're resuming their mission. Sweet dreams, Ueshi. Too bad he was getting close to catching me. Can I get a cup of coffee? Okay, well, absolutely. This is getting complicated. There's still several officers at Ara's house, and her friends are there as well. Ara must know she's getting murdered tonight. Someone's leaking. I think we should postpone the plan. We have to have our corpse by tomorrow. That's most convenient for the people in charge. We'd like to see this mission tonight. The crucial part of this mission was the death of Rika and what came after that. They couldn't just kill her whenever they wanted. It seems like the most arbitrary plan to just, like, murder a whole village for no reason. Maybe she's panicking at the dog's excessive security? No, it's not that information's being leaked. She's predicting it. She knew Tomatake was dead, and she even knew my body was going to be found. She's the queen. She's the genuine heir to the blood of Oyashiro, her priestess and queen positioned at the top of Hinamizawa's supernatural phenomena. It's impossible to hide things from God. Assassinating Rika won't be so easy. Alright, Rika. Let's see which of us deserves to inherit the legend of Oyashiro. Your death will be the final curse, and will mark the finale of this legendary village. So she needs, like, literally an entire battalion of JDF, probably more, guarding her. Anything less seems like overkill. Anything less would be a complete joke. And I don't even know if you could have a battalion do enough guarding. Since, this is the government, they just show up and hose her down anyway with bullets, right? So I guess they have to, like, assassinate Takano. They have to assassinate Takano and maybe, like, do something else. We'll see. Right, your plan becomes the real curse. So what is their purpose in killing everybody? It doesn't seem to make too much sense. Guess we'll find out in Arc 8. It's past 8. Mion ordered some noodles for us, her treat. We also ordered food for the 4 officers as we all ate together. We were supposed to call it a night as soon as we talked to Uishi, but he's still not here. However, we all took it easy, assuming they'd get here sooner or later. Getting late. Once you get to Hinamizawa, there aren't many places to get something to eat. I'm sure they're having a quick dinner before coming here. However, the 4 officers seem anxious. They all had families, but Uishi didn't tell them how late they'd have to be out. They're hoping Uishi will bring other officers to relieve them so they can go home. They called the station, but all they said was Uishi was on his way, and we should wait because he'll be here soon. Uishi sure is late. I'm sure he's stuck in traffic. It's still rush hour. Officers have been there since this afternoon, right? Must be tired by now. I know, it sucks they don't even know when they can go home. Should we patrol outside so they can get some rest? We can have Satoko set up some traps to prevent strangers from coming in here. Oh, good thinking, Shion. However, just think, this is our house. We already have several traps set up around this place. Really? We should be careful when we're around here. With our stomachs full, the mood in the house returned to a light-hearted one. True, we shouldn't be so relaxed, but knowing that Uishi would be here soon made us feel relieved. But he's late. He said he'd be here in an hour. Mion mentioned he might have gotten stuck in traffic, but I'm sure Uishi was considering that, and that's why he said it'd take an hour. It had been an hour since the time Uishi was supposed to get here. I want to believe he's getting something to eat, but I'm starting to get concerned. So if Uishi goes to investigate Takano's body, he just dies. Alright. Uishi still hadn't shown up. It's almost 11. The officers are completely exhausted. They even started to smoke cigarettes outside. My friends are getting tired, too. Toko's yawning. It's way past our bedtime. Everyone else is getting tired and sleepy. We've been spending our time watching TV and reading manga. I can feel my fear succumbing to sleepiness. The day is almost over. I'm gonna survive the day I'm supposed to die. Does that mean I escaped my fate? No, well, have to fight endlessly from tomorrow onwards. I was gonna discuss that with Uishi. Since he's not here, I don't know what to do from here. And suddenly the phone rang, breaking the silence. Is that Uishi? Hello, this is the Fruit Restaurant. Sorry to call you this late. This is Komiyama, calling from the Okonomiya Police Department. By any chance, is Detective Uishi there with you? No, we've been waiting for him a long time. I see. We'll send out more officers. Will you tell the ones there to leave once their relief comes? I'll do that. So where's Uishi? We got a call from him this evening saying he's heading there directly. We thought he'd be with you. The officers were supposed to return after Uishi arrived, but they haven't come back. We were wondering what was going on. That's what I'd like to know, but arguing with the man on the phone wouldn't accomplish anything. He doesn't know shit. I hung up and gave the message to the officers downstairs. It looked like everyone already heard our exchange on the phone. I wonder what's going on. He's way too late. Maybe he ran into some important case he had to take care of. You'd call us if so. You told us he was on his way. I think you'd call if something was going on. Was he attacked by Tokyo? No way. But if they're really as scary as Rika told us, that might be possible. He probably had something to take care of. I bet he forgot to call us. Remember, he's a tough guy. No one can take him down that easily. The only fight we've seen Uishi in, he lost, and he got his world fucking rocked by like one Yakuza guy. Like he got fucking wrecked. We haven't actually seen the police officers perform well in any of the in their combat capacity. I mean, they are just police officers, but still, Uishi is not that good at fighting. In fact, I believe the exact description of that fight was he knew he was outmatched the minute the fight started. So, random ass mercs will shit on him. Actually, those mercs we now know are probably Mountain Dog, so every single Mountain Dog can dumpster him with, like, minimal effort. Satoko yawned. Everyone laughed, but some were trying not to yawn themselves. Damn, yawns are contagious. Gotta be careful. We can't stay up forever. We decided we'd call it a night once the replacement officers arrived. I'm sure I survived past the time I was supposed to die. Probably because the police officers are protecting me. Perhaps both the Kano and the Mountain Dogs are also on my side, and they took care of the murderer. I don't know who's changing my fate. Maybe my fate's been changed. Hasn't been changed. I'm gonna be killed soon anyway. I don't know if it's because of the police or because of the Mountain Dogs, but the only thing I know for sure is I'm still alive. Soon I heard the noise of someone walking on the gravel of the shrine grounds. One of my friends suggested it might be Uishi, but I doubt it. I don't want to expect him and be disappointed. I'm starting to think like Hanyu. Good evening, I'm Komayama. I'm from the Okinobe Police Department. It wasn't Uishi. 2 of his fellow detectives arrived instead. They were going to stay downstairs and have the 4 officers return home. They also told my friends to leave. I'll stay here to protect you. Please go home. Families must be worried about you. Thanks, everyone. The detectives are here. I'm okay now. Are you sure? We'll stay here tonight if you like. I'm fine. Besides, I don't have any extra pajamas or blankets for you guys. See you tomorrow then. We'll try and stay with you as much as we can from now on. But we could do club activities here after school. That would be wonderful. I float right break with all the people here. I might really break, so they're not doing a sleepover? Well, Rika, we're going home, but be careful. Don't go out alone in the dark under any circumstances. I'll be careful. I'd see you tomorrow. Am I really gonna see them tomorrow? I have no clue. No clue. I tried so many things over the past 100 years. Well, your friends just ditched you, so you're probably dead. I've done many things and I have memories of most of them. That's why I feel so scared on the day I die. It's the only day I have no memory of. I don't even know if I'm approaching or escaping my death right now. All I know is this fear is going to continue until I find some kind of solution. As I started getting ready to bed, Toko suggested I sleep in my regular clothes rather than pajamas. She was thinking I should remain dressed in case someone tries to attack me in my sleep. It sounds ridiculous, but she's trying to be considerate. I decided to do as she told me. Toko seemed sleepy until a few minutes ago, but she suddenly started explaining to me all the traps she set on the shrine grounds. She assured me strangers will end up trapped if they try sneaking inside this building. To someone else, it might sound like she's trying to brag, but Satoko was trying to make me feel better. After everyone else left, she noticed how scared I looked. Satoko's kindness and everyone's kindness. I felt like it was the right decision for me to talk to my friends, even if it won't end up changing my fate. Anya showed up again. She looked upset. She was probably still thinking I'd get killed at any minute. But I'm actually feeling a little better. I might get killed tomorrow, but I feel like I can rest safely. Tonight, at least. I'm more concerned about the fact Uishi didn't show up. Even if he didn't, the other detectives are here, and will stay on guard without sleeping. As long as they're here, I think I'll be safe tonight. What's wrong? Are you hungry? I didn't eat anything sweet today. Do you want me to drink some juice? Anya would usually cheer up when I suggested drinking juice. But not this time. Her face looked pale. as if she wasn't even alive. Something out of the ordinary clearly happened. What's wrong? It's almost time. It sounded far more like a declaration than a prediction. Even Hanyu doesn't have memories of my death. There's no way she can tell when I'll be killed. However, she sounded certain now. Perhaps we can feel it in the cells of our body. Our bodies understand fate better than we do. Up until now, I'd felt reassured we could get through it somehow. We're all together, but as I clung to that preserver with the whole leaking air, I was starting to drown in a sea of despair, struggling to keep my head above water. I can't let myself feel that way. I have to believe. Okay, Hanyu, I'm gonna fight. Even if I get killed tomorrow, I'm not gonna die tonight. Hanyu gave me a look of faint sadness, and the silence told me my pitiful hope was gonna push me down into a futile reality. I stared at Satoku as she bragged about her traps. I'm getting killed shortly, and Satoku won't be safe either. I quickly interrupted her talk about traps. Time was 1 in the morning. As it's hardly a big city, 1 a.m. in Hinamizawa is the middle of the night. The darkness here gets deep. There was light leaking from the first floor where 2 detectives sat on guard, but everything else was pitch black. Even the moonlight seemed indistinct. It's time. 2 detectives downstairs. More than an hour since the light went out above them. Waiting orders. What a beautiful night. You have permission to engage. Did we terminate the detectives? Yeah. Everyone in the shrine will be demoned away tonight. It's better that way. HQ to Phoenix. Commencing mission. Terminate the 2 detectives. You do not have permission to fire. I repeat, you do not have permission to fire your weapons. HQ to Nightingale. Phoenix, commence the mission. Shut down the phone lines. Roger. Shutting down. They've been working to disable the phone lines in case their target tried to contact the police during the attack. The mission was what Uishi happened to bump into. Again, Phoenix to all units. Be prepared when you enter. Terminate the 2 detectives on the first floor. 1 companion on the second. Do not leave evidence. Do not fire your weapons or use gas. Use your tasers. Remember, they have guns. Do not let them fire. Come on, don't embarrass me, Okanogi. I'm just doing my job. Phoenix 7 and 8, advance forward. Backup team, secure the perimeter. Gotcha. We're heading in now. The 2 men in uniform approach the building. The mountain dog's uniform is gray, so it didn't blend in with their surroundings at all, but it doesn't look as suspicious as real camouflage suits. Of course, they look suspicious enough creeping up to the house like that anyway. They could both see light leaking from the door and hear voices from the detectives. Rika would typically use this sliding door to get inside. The door was locked, but the dogs obtained a spare key long ago. They put the key in the keyhole, but it wouldn't go in smoothly. They were certain it would make noise when they turned it. The detectives would notice the minute they did that. They'd have to rush inside and beat them in one swift burst. Phoenix 7 and 8 glanced at each other. This is Phoenix 7. We're at target location. Waiting for command. Kano here. Make it nice and clean. Go ahead. Roger, breaking in. He turned the key in a hurry and opened the door. By the time the detectives looked, the door was open, and the mountain dog stepped inside. They aimed their weapons at the detectives, but the latter were still turning around. In a fight like that, the first 2 seconds are the most crucial. The detectives collapsed, making minimal noise. There were needles stuck in their body, and those needles were connected via wires to the attackers' guns. In other words, the weapons those 2 had weren't ordinary guns, they were stun guns in the shape of firearms. Instead of bullets, they shoot electric needles that electrocute their victims into unconsciousness. Normally, they're non-lethal weapons that allow the shooter to capture the victim, but their tasers were modified. The 2 dogs started walking up the stairs as soon as they confirmed the detectives were no longer breathing, but in the next moment they heard a loud noise above them. This is Phoenix 10. Our and her companion noticed us. They jumped out from the 2nd floor window. They're running into the forest. Attention, Phoenix 4 and 5. They're headed your way. Capture them. Roger, let's go. Phoenix 4 spotted the 2 girls and started after them, but he suddenly stepped on something hard. With a cheap-sounding explosion, the area was filled with smoke. The trap Satoku had set using firecrackers. It had proven to be a fortunate idea. The mountain dog dropped to the ground, assuming they're under fire, giving Rika a chance to escape. Who are they? Are they the organization for Tokyo you're talking about? I think so. Just run. We're dead if they catch us. What's going on? What was that noise? It's Phoenix 5. Someone's shooting at us. Ours escaped. We'll continue the pursuit. Shit. There were just some firecrackers, damn it! That must be Satoku's handiwork. He's pretty good. What? Hurry up. Don't let them escape into someone's house. Phoenix 18, I spotted the target. I need some backup. They know this area well. If we don't get them now, we'll definitely lose them. This wasn't a game of hide and seek, it was a game of tag. Several men in uniform were chasing after Rika and Satoko. They weren't idiots, so they didn't waste energy on a futile act of shouting wait. It was a quiet, deadly game of tag in the middle of the night. Where are we going? Let's split up, try and shake them off. We'll meet at Mia's house. Her basement will be safe. We can contact the police from there. Satoko had no idea Mion had a basement in her house, but she didn't have time to ask about it under her current circumstances. All she did was nod. Bang. The next moment I felt my left foot catch on something and I fell to the ground. I must have tripped on a rock or a piece of concrete. Well, you fucked up. Rika, get out of here, Satoko. You'll be killed. Satoko wouldn't move on without me, though. She came back to lend me a hand. I stood up without her help, but this cost us too much time. One of the men almost caught us. I didn't know what to do. Why do you not have a knife on you? I feel like a knife might be useful, but Satoko, upon seeing him, quickly reacted. Satoko ran towards him and kicked him with all her might. Her foot landed right in his face. I wish I had a camera. Satoko managed to land a flying kick in an adult's face. That's like 5 feet. Like, let's assume he's short. That's like a 5 foot. That's like 5 feet in the air. She has to. She's like what, 12? Either she somehow managed to land a kick that high. Like, you don't land a kick that high. That's insane. Like, when you're practicing martial arts, you assume that you cannot kick as high as you can in training. And most people can't hit heads in training. Most people really struggle unless they have lots of flexibility and practice to accurately hit a head in training. That's actually insane. Hitting someone who's like 5 feet tall in the face with your foot when you're like 4 feet maybe is pretty fucking hard. Holy shit. There were 2 more of them right behind the first man. I can see them clearly now. They're the gardeners from that landscape company. They're wearing the same uniforms Okonogi is always wearing. They must be the mountain dogs. And now I'm certain Takano is the culprit. Now that I know that, I can do something about it in the next world. But if I die now, will I lose my memory again? Can't die now. I need to survive to keep my memories. The Toko took something out of her pocket and threw it at them. It was something like sand that blinded them, but even that could only buy us a few seconds. He tried to run, but froze as soon as they aimed their weapons at us. Their stun guns are only shaped like firearms. The Toko, not knowing that, thought they were real guns. Knowing that she'll be shot, she turned and ran. She tried to attack them instead. But of course, there's 3 of them. Most would think it impossible to drive them off, but Satoko did not think of that. She had a 100% chance of dying if she tried to run. Then she might as well fight, because she might have a 1% chance of defeating them. Satoko is determined to save me at her own expense. But I can't stay in this world if it means losing Satoko. I'm dying anyway. I'd rather die for Satoko's sake than lose her, but another me was shouting in my mind, if I don't survive, I lose this memory. And if I die without keeping this memory, this life and everything I learned will be wasted. Should I escape and leave Satoko behind? I should use the experience to my advantage in the next life. I should just let go of her in this world. No way. That really would make me a witch. And now I know in my heart there's no way I can win against these guys. I'm certain their backup will get here if we take our time to fight them. Should I fight them for her or leave so I can confront my true enemy? Oh, that's a tough choice. That's a tough choice. It didn't actually give me a choice to save, by the way. It didn't actually let me right-click and save there, curious enough. I was right-clicking. I was right-clicking to try and save like I normally do, and it didn't let me do that. What did I pick? Satoko! Satoko's bravery gives me courage. If I left her, I'd lose my motivation to defeat fate? I don't know if this is a... I don't even know what choice this is supposed to be. I guess there's a choice if you don't make a choice fast enough, maybe? I don't care if I lose my memories. It only took 100 years to get this information. I don't care if I have to spend another 100 in this same gym. I can't leave Satoko. Satoko! I'm fighting too. Rika, I told you to go! I noticed something. They're only aiming at Satoko. There must be a reason they can't shoot me, so I stood in front of Satoko to protect her. And it's expected they put their guns down, preparing to take us out without weapons. You guys are the mountain dogs, so Takana's behind this. Yep. I'm so stupid. I know who you are, but I chose not to run. So she has to kill 20 plus mountain dogs to live. tonight. That's gonna be tough. I'm not going to. If you're gonna kill me now, someone once told me, fate can be destroyed as easy as a piece of paper. They must think this my final speech. They let me talk until I'm finished. You people are pathetic. That's why you'll never kill me. Next moment, one of them dropped to the ground. Keiichi had run towards him and kicked him from behind. Keiichi had kicked him right in the small of his back, and the dog was squirming on the ground. The other two tried to retaliate, but they were too late. Mion grabbed one of their arms from behind and flipped him to the ground. It must be some kind of martial art. I'd seen something like this in an action movie before. This is very unexpected. Reina tried to push the remaining dog down with all her strength, but that wasn't enough to take him out. He tried to aim his gun at Reina, but she'd already done what she was supposed to. All she needed was his attention. Shion snuck up behind him and fired her stun gun into his neck. The stun gun made a snapping noise and the dog fell to the ground with the rest of his friends. Wow, Kasai told me this was modified, but it works pretty well. Shion hit this guy too. Shion hit this guy too. You guys okay? That was close. You ran so fast it took us a lot of time to catch up. I'm really glad we stuck around. You're waiting out there in case anything happened. I mean, you stayed without going back home? Yep. I saw someone who looked suspicious staring at the shrine already. I'm really surprised you saw him in this darkness. Neither lies nor camouflage work on you. Really, he's got quite the piercing gaze. He's got the gaze of the unconquered sun. That's quite the feat. The figuring he'd leave if they spoke to him. They secretly staked out that suspicious man. They started following us as soon as they heard the sound of firecrackers. I never expected I'd be saved like this. Can't stay here longer. We should go. What should we do now? We were trying to get to Mion's house. You got a basement there, apparently. The underdog. Grand Star is perfect spot. We also got some weapons inside there. Shh, shh, don't say that out loud. Don't say that out loud. Anyway, I think it's a good idea. There's several secret passages in there, so we can get the drop on them. Come on, let's go. They're still after us. A white van was approaching us at high speed. It's obviously belonging to the mountain dogs. The van stopped not far from us, and more people in uniform jumped out. There were at least 6 of them. If we all run, the slowest runner might get caught. So we should take them down while we can? I don't know if they have a license, but Mion and Shion know how to drive a car. We can get their van and get away from there. You're gonna take on 6 guys? There's 6 of them! That's perfect. Let's beat them unconscious and steal their van. Oh, that's a good idea. Let's get them. I like how they're like 6 people with guns. Seems good. The dogs are ready to chase us. They had no idea we'd try to attack them instead. Wait, wouldn't they know? Because there's like 5 guys limited? Anyway, 3 guys limited. Reina's always the first to make a move in this situation. She gets determined once a decision's made. She immediately singled out one dog and punched him in the nose. I want you guys to remember that Uishi actually loses to these guys in a one-on-one. Another one tried to grab him from behind, but Keiichi kicked him in the side as hard as he could. Hey Reina, watch your back! I'll leave that to you, Keiichi. Look after me. Kinda curious what you're like back in Ibaraki. You sure don't hesitate to punch people. And you don't hesitate to zap people with an illegal stun gun. Shion's just like, no I don't. No I don't. Given Shion had that stun gun, the dogs were reluctant to go after her. They were scared of the very dangerous weapon she had in her hand, but thanks to that, Shion stopped one of them for certain. It was fortunate for us they didn't have any guns of their own. They had no way of countering Shion's stun gun. Totoku attacked him from behind. She encircled his neck with a jump rope and pulled. Shion followed up, quickly hitting him with the stun gun. What was I doing? Well, the only thing I can do is run around to try to get their attention. They're pursuing me, after all. I mean, they want to catch me more than anything else. That leaves them open to attacks from my friends. Keiichi had already hit the one trying to grab me, and I think we have a chance here. We may not be able to take them all down, but we can try and find a chance to escape to their vehicle. With what Rika said, I thought these guys would be really strong. They're not that bad. Just how strong we club members are. Not being afraid is probably the secret to strength. This club activities are training to get rid of your hesitation. It's because Uishi is too fast. True, he is a police officer. He's had one too many donuts. One too many desserts at Angel Mort. Ruined his physique. We all fight together. We can win this 6-on-6 battle. If any one of us wasn't here, they'd beat us easily. We'd end up dead. If my friends hadn't stayed behind, I would have been killed by now. We can do it. We can make it. The dogs Shion took down with her stun gun were starting to wake up. The ones we knocked out earlier were also up and chasing us again. We gotta get out of here. This isn't the time for me to be running around. Come on, let's see what I can do. Rika? Hanyu, I know you can't believe in hope, just like always. Stay there and see what my stubbornness can do. I want to change this fate. She's gonna get in the car, that has the engine still on, and just like run over a couple people. That'll be some permanent damage. Let me show you what I'm capable of. Alright everyone, we're gonna finish this now. Take down whoever's in front of you, and we're gonna grab their car and get out of here. Yep, I'm gonna do this. You go, Rika. Alright, let's go. On Keishi's signal, we attacked 6 of the dogs in unison. Time slowed down. I truly felt like I was trying to overcome the impossible wall of time and change my fate. But time continued to slow down even further until it stopped. Wait, what? It felt like the film reel of a movie had gotten hung up halfway through. Like time itself came to a standstill. Hanyu, what's this about? The time has come. What? Why? Wearing a sad expression, Hanyu pointed at Keiichi. I finally noticed something. All my friends had noticed already except for Keiichi. Keiichi, what's floating in front of your chest? What do you mean? Huh? What's this? Time had stopped just when Keiichi was about to hit his opponent, and he realized something was floating in front of his heart. It was a metallic silver cone. That was the first thing I could think of. Catch it! What the hell is this? Is this a bullet? That's exactly what it was. The bullet stopped about 15 centimeters from his chest, just before it would enter his body. That's right, once time starts moving, it will slam into his chest. In other words, it's too late. Keiichi will immediately die when time starts again. Who shot it? The 6 guys didn't have any guns! Look, over there, by the van! The Toko couldn't point at the van. Time had completely stopped after all. We could see another person standing near the van. There had actually been 7 inside, not 6. The 7th person was the one who fired the bullet. JP got maintenance and they got a new icon? Yeah, they've been on maintenance for a while. We couldn't actually do anything. The person is someone we all know very well. Takano. It's Takano! She shot the gun? She shot Keiichi? In the frozen world, Takano was still smiling, still aiming her gun at Keiichi. Takano had been watching us from the van this whole time. She came out and fired her gun, knowing we hadn't seen her at all. I get it now. So Takano's the bad guy all along. What are we gonna do? Can't you try to twist your body to avoid the bullet? Oh, don't be stupid. Time's totally stopped. I can't move at all. Try moving as soon as time starts. Yeah, it might make a difference. Everyone was desperate to save him, however, no matter how hard we thought, we couldn't come up with any ideas to save him from the bullet. We were so desperate, Keiichi started laughing. Well, I don't know what's going on, but there's nothing that could be done. I'm dead the minute time moves again. Even if I don't die, I won't be of any help to you guys. Listen up. Give up on me? You only need to think about taking these guys down. Get inside that van. Never. You can't. I don't want to lose. Hanyu, are you telling me this is my fate? Are you saying there's no way to overcome this? It's okay, Rika. You won't remember this. You won't. No, Keiichi's not gonna die. Stop it, Michan. Let's concentrate on taking them down. I'm sure Keiichi won't want us spending time turning back to him as he falls. Exactly how I feel right now. Guys, take care of Rika. Get out of here and contact Coach. They probably killed Uishi. That's why he never showed up. Listen, promise you'll all survive. Promise me. Keiichi. Rika, I'm sorry. I'm the one who told you we could change destiny, but I guess I'm retiring now. Alright. It sounded like Takano's regular laughter, but it was the scariest noise I ever heard. Are you ready to let go of your life now? Takano, we haven't lost you. Done watching your life flash before your eyes? The silence ended and the clamor of reality returned. An explosive sound hit Keiichi straight in the chest. I watched Keiichi collapse right in front of me. He fell down on his back while blood splattered everywhere, and after that he stopped moving. There's no way any of us weren't shocked by that. We tried to take down the foes in front of us, but more came from behind. We tried to struggle as best we could, but there's no way we could win against all these adults. I did my best to fight them off, but they pulled my hair and picked me up as if I weighed nothing. I still don't know why she didn't bring a knife with her. Like, wouldn't a knife have been hugely useful instead of kicking someone in the... Like, if you have, like... Hey, like, let's think about this. Shion's, like, tasering people. If you have time to taser someone, you can probably... You don't even need to be competent. You just run at him, fucking stab him in the throat and leave. There you go. That guy's not getting up from the stun gun anytime soon. I heard everyone's desperate screams of resistance. The comforting and courageous unity we showed right before Keiichi was shot shattered like glass. Shouldn't the people be aware that people are being taken? Like they're screaming and gunshots? Anyway. The debris of that glass lay sadly on the ground. Takano's annoying laughter still echoed in my ears. Takano to HQ? I've taken care of it. I need what I told you before. I also need someone to clean up the bodies. Send me 5 bags and some water to clean the area. Understood? She needs 5 bags? My body froze, but time did not. Takano, laughing, pointed her gun at Mion's head. You kidding me? Always want to see the tattoo on your back. I'll take a peek at it later. Sure, have a look if you want. It's nothing special. Oh? You don't think I'll find it interesting? Stop! Don't shoot her! Takano shook her head in response to Reina's scream. I have to kill her. She's the leader of your club, so she goes first. No, stop. Bam. So, like, Takano's just like a random psychopath with a lot of military pull in Tokyo. That's interesting. There was a dull noise, followed by Mion's body twitching. We all tried to break free from the men restraining us as Takano calmly shot Mion. However, they were too strong, and all we could do was squirm like insects. Takano was enjoying watching us struggle. She then stepped towards Satoko, but Shion started screaming curses at her. My, you want to be shot before her? You could have stayed alive a few more seconds so you were nice and quiet. Stop it, Shion. Don't agitate her like that. I know why she's doing that. Shion wants to protect Satoko for as long as she can. Poor Rika. That is what it is. Again, she has to kill Takano and like 30 people here. Which is going to be tough with your group of 6 people, and even if Uishi survives, that's like one person who might have 1 gun. And he has to take down like 6 trained snipers. He has to take down 3 pairs of trained snipers. A minimum 4 pairs of trained snipers. That's gonna be pretty hard to do. So I assume he has to be in the village beforehand. But that still means you have to take on 20 guys plus those other 8 guys. That's like a pretty ridiculous number of soldiers to kill. I don't even think he has that much ammunition in his fucking police car with Kuma with him. She's trying to do what Satoshi told her to. Takano didn't care one whit for Shion's feelings. Stepping over Keiichi's body, she approached Shion. I get it now. You killed Satoshi, didn't you? Isn't that the truth? Sorry, I don't like giving out secrets, so I'm not telling. Shion's body twitched. That had followed the dull sound of another gunshot. And nobody's called the police. And the police officer at the thing is just napping, I guess, too. 2 dull sounds that stole away the lively Sonozaki sisters. It didn't quite add up. I started shaking from fear when it hit me how easily Takano can take away lives. Is it amusing for you to take innocent lives? Monster. Oh, you want to die next? Well, you're going to be the last one if you stay quiet. Keiichi, Mion, and Shion died. The oldest left was Reina. She didn't want to see Satoko and me die before she did. You're the culprit behind the mysterious deaths in Hinami-sama. Do you think you're Oyashiro-sama's proxy or something? I'm not a proxy. I'm just handing out divine punishment. Too bad you're not going to see it. Soon enough, Oyashiro's wrath's going to destroy the whole village, but I'm the one who's going to make that happen. It's my curse, and I'm going to become Oyashiro. I'll become something more than human. You'll never understand how I feel. I don't understand the Japanese government in the slightest. It seems like murdering all these people for no reason is like kind of pointless, but okay. I could understand if they're like, we're doing inhuman research on something, but it's not even like they have a good motive. But I mean, Takano's already got a weird sense of things she's interested in. You'll never understand how wonderful it is to become a god. I don't think that's possible. No matter how much you try to become him, you won't. It's just a game for you. You'll never become Oishiro. The process has already begun. Reina laughed at her, and Takano seemed upset to hear that laugh. What's so fun? It's impossible. Because Oishiro's already here. Those are Rena's last words. Well, your turn, Satoko. I don't really care if you live or die, but you're a living research sample. Tokyo has a bounty on capturing you alive. But it's not much. My share would run it with a trip to Europe. If I capture you alive, nothing good happens anyway. They'll probably open your skull and probe your brain while you're still alive. Besides, I was your friend, and it might be kinder to shoot you dead here. Which would you prefer? I can't decide that. Satoko shouted back at her, her eyes full of tears. Let's do a quiz then. Broccoli or cauliflower? Which is green? It's good. No, it's broccoli. How? As soon as I heard that same dull sound, Satoko stopped moving. Takano smiled and said, "Good girl," at what used to be Satoko. And she's laughing maniacally, saying, "It's a lovely, beautiful night. Don't you agree? So you're killing me too? Yep, I'll kill you. The corpse the queen carries, key to the mission. You're going to become an ugly political tool far away in Tokyo. And then the legend of Onigafuchi will come to an end. I know how you're planning on killing me." Oh, you do? Well, let's hear it. I'm not going to say it, but I know. It's Matanagashi. She wants to do the real thing using my body. I'm sure she's planning to cut open my stomach and pull out my guts. To do that, she'll make me inhale some chemical to put me to sleep. I vaguely remember that part. I guess you already know. Good night, Rika. One of the dogs approached me with a handkerchief soaked in a chemical substance. Wait a minute, Takano. Everyone's dead and you're begging for your life? No, that's not it. You're gonna kill me too without putting me to sleep. Takano hadn't expected to hear that. Still, even though she's surprised, she nodded with a slight smile. Hanyu was also surprised to hear that. It'd obviously be a terrible way to die. What are you thinking? Wouldn't you prefer an easy, painless death? You know it's going to be horrible, right? I'm going to cut you open while you're still alive. Oh, I don't want to forget. I'm going to do this so I remember. I'm not going to forget about it. The picture of you cutting open my stomach will be forever burned in my soul. So I'll never forget that. Next time I see you, I'll remember you did this to me. What are you cooking up in your head? I guess you're smarter than the other kids. At least you have a chance to scream for your life. I'm not gonna let you do that, though. They forced something other than the handkerchief inside my mouth. It was a gag. With that in, I couldn't close my mouth, leading to saliva to start overflowing. And soon another van arrived. More mountain dogs came out of it. They probably came to get rid of the bodies. They grabbed the corpses of my friends and stuffed them into body bags. And after that, they sprayed some water on the ground to clean up the blood. They asked Takano how many shots were fired, and she started looking around for bullets. They were erasing all the evidence, and by the time the night was over, there'd be no proof left. They pulled my hands behind my back, bound them with handcuffs. My ankles were tied up too. They tied my ankles and wrists together. My body was bent like a shrimp, and I was no longer able to walk. My mouth was covered, so I couldn't even talk. I couldn't move, talk, or express myself in any other way. They'd taken away everything that made me human. Therefore, I wasn't human anymore. I was just a toy named Rika, a toy to give Takano joy. The car started moving. So, fun fact, even if she wins, this means in like 99.999% of all potential universes, Takano just continues on her killing spree, killing whoever she wants, and kills the whole village too, right? Which honestly seems pretty pointless. She's killing from the government's perspective, I feel like killing multiple cities worth of people seems really stupid. For like very little reason. I'm surprised they're like A-okaying this. It's one thing if there was like an actual problem, but there's not. So they just like randomly order her to kill people. Okay, no wonder Japan's population's declining with leadership like this. Now I can see why you want... Now I can see how they get nationalists. The population declines because they kill so many people. And since they get away with it in like 9 out of 10, 99 out of 100 worlds, since they keep doing this in 99 out of 100 worlds, it's probably not going to end well for the country, but I don't really see how that's useful for them. Alright. Car started moving. It seemed like we were going back the way we came, but I didn't care anymore. At the time of my death, as it approached, some of my forgotten memories came back to me. That's right. I was killed like this many times. Each time I repeated my life, Takano got the pleasure of killing me. Yeah. Someone rubbed my head. Were they trying to comfort me? I shook my head to try and refuse, and they laughed at me as I did so. Hanyu showed up. She couldn't hold back her devastated tears. Again, it didn't work again. When I saw Hanyu's painful tears, I was convinced. I was wrong. Hanyu is not a bystander. She's just too scared to face reality because she can't stand the pain anymore. She wants a happy future, but her hopes were betrayed countless times, and she was hurt far, far too much. For some reason, seeing her sorrowful expression calmed me down. Perhaps Hanyu was crying in my place? It's okay, Hanyu. You did what we could. You worked hard. We're getting close to changing our fate for real. It didn't work out. For some reason, I feel satisfied. I never fought this hard in my life. I never learned so many things. Because I can repeat my life endlessly, I've been taking each one for granted, but everyone else is taking their lives seriously. I wasn't learning anything because I wasn't doing that. But I finally understood. I learned something from this life, and I put my effort into it. So, I'm sad I didn't make it, but I feel satisfied all the same. It's a strange kind of satisfaction. I wonder how many of these memories I'll keep. I get the sense I'm gonna lose my memory this evening. If that's the case, I'll lose my memory of seeing Takano's face. I finally found out she's the mastermind. Am I gonna repeat this same world forever, not knowing the truth? She killed my friends like she was squashing some bugs. I don't really want to forget that. No matter how hard my death will be, I need to remember her face. Hanyu, I'm not gonna give up. I don't care if I can't recall his memory. I'll continue to live my life. I don't care if I can only live this Jew. Eventually I'll only be able to go back to the night of Watanagashi. If that's my life, so be it. Well, if nothing else, if you can repeat the same day over and over, eventually you'll become god tier at it. And honestly, that would at least be entertaining to see Rika kill like 50 people with a fucking kitchen knife. And just be like, well, I had some practice. What? Oh, I looped like 5 million times, but I eventually killed her. Possible, right? Theoretically possible? I mean, it'd be like some pretty crazy strats, but I'm sure you could do it if you had to speedrun. If you had to speedrun killing the entirety of the mountain dogs, I think she could do it in a night. It'd just be funny to think of it. She like gets up, wakes up, and is like, I need to go buy 3 more knives from the store. 1 minute. Comes back, she's like, all right, I got 20, and just like walks out, jumps out the window, throws 3 knives, like 3 headshots, just keeps going. She's like, but we've done this before. Gets to the van, and she just cuts them down in like 5 seconds. And it's like, congratulations, you've survived your training to be like the ninja lolly. The ninja lolly of everyone's favorite fantasy. It's a shitty way to train, but I mean... Theoretically, if you don't give up, you could become virtually unbeatable in combat. Especially if you know your opponents well enough to know exactly how they operate when you start doing things, because you can retry it. After all, that's how people play on, like, ultra hard, right? Not gonna forget either. If you don't remember, I'll tell you the truth. Hanyu, I knew it. You acted like an unfeeling bystander, but it's because you're afraid of the pain. You wonder if in other timelines Rika goes crazy and kills Takano but loses her friends instead? It's possible. Also want to have a happy future with everyone. Hanyu started crying like a baby. She's so stupid. She decided to abandon hope because she didn't want to deal with the sadness she felt on this night. But she ended up hurt and devastated anyway. Hanyu, are you happy the world's ending like you predicted? I decided not to ask her such an unpleasant question. On the other hand, we might be... On the other hand, we don't know if this is actually, we don't know if this is actually multiple reality time travel, or if she's, like, hopping between realities, or if she's just reversing time. She could be reversing time. Could be reversing time. She could also be predicting things. She could also be using, prediction. Highly advanced prediction to live out multiple lives to determine which life doesn't end in her death. It's possible, right? But it seems more like time travel because she's changing where her starting point is. But she could just, but like in theory, you could just be like, okay, I need a solution to get through this, and then you just like figure out how to get the right one. Then you see it happen, and then by that point, it's like done. And so you're just like branching off of later branches until you reach the perfect route, right? Which is why the minute she realized what she had to do to get like her first 4 parts correct, or the first like few ducks in a line, basically, with like all of the issues from her friends, she solves all of them and then instantly goes into one with Satoko's, right? Because rather than actually traveling back in time, she's problem solving. She's using like really advanced prediction to problem solve her own death, in her own foretold death in a year. So she could be just like, okay, this one ends badly, 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 this one ends badly. This one gets most of the things right, okay, and suddenly we go into that branch where like everything goes right because she realized what needs to go right. Like the second Rika realizes what needs to go right, it will have already happened and she'll proceed from there, like she's searching a tree. It's like, okay, well, you know, all of first thing going badly ends to a bad end, so we're not going to do anything where first thing goes badly again. Make sense? So she's just like searching it. She's just searching for a route where things go the way she wants them to. Could be just a search like that. There might be a reveal. We'll see. The car stopped and 2 men pulled me out of the vehicle. We returned to the Furude shrine. There were several men waiting in front of the offertory box. Nearby, there were countless sharp knives laid on the ground. They're gonna cut open my stomach with these tools and pull out my intestines. They took off all my clothes. They left the gag in my mouth and the handcuffs around my wrists. I wasn't embarrassed to be naked in front of them, and rather I was just furious that Takano was getting joy out of doing this to me. Don't forget the humiliation. The pain I'm about to experience should be carved into my soul forever. I'm not gonna forget this. Everyone worked together, and we finally revealed who's behind it all. If I forget it, my friends' efforts and deaths will have been in vain. I need to stay alive as long as possible, so that I'll remember the pain. Honey, don't look away. You need to watch. Remember this forever. Oh, this is the only way I can help you. Is this all I can do? I can't touch or talk to anyone. It's enough. If you continue to stare at me, I can endure this. Hanyu nodded, and sat right next to me while continuing to cry. We then looked up at the night sky together. The moon was shining brightly as if it was taking pity on me. We also looked at the faces of my murderers. The beautiful moon was gradually stained red, and it's getting cold. It's so painful. I'm consumed with the fear of not being able to do anything about this, but Hanyu is right next to me. Gives me comfort. It's not just Hanyu either. Everyone's here with me. Everyone is there watching me so I can stand this torture. It's why it wasn't painful. I didn't struggle. I didn't care about Takano's crazy laughter. It was such a wonderful world. We didn't overcome this fate, but I have no regrets. Of course, I'm sad. I'm disappointed. My future was right in front of my eyes. My hand could almost reach it. And even so, we did what we could. I'll be proud of myself. Keiji voiced his disagreement. He still felt we could have done more. We were almost there. We almost beat this fate. We didn't win, but not because our enemies were strong. We didn't win because we didn't try hard enough. Oh, you worked so hard together. I was watching. I saw the whole thing. It wasn't enough. If we had a will strong enough to overcome this fate, we should have created a miracle. They didn't start early enough, and they didn't do any long-term plans. A miracle will happen if everyone believes in. In the end of the season 2 anime, there's a small clip pertaining to this that leans more towards parallel worlds than reversing time. So what you're saying is, she's just able to find one world where she succeeds, and she is burning like 500 worlds. Okay, so everyone dies in like 99% of worlds, and we get to maybe see the one world where they don't die, from Rika's perspective. But she's dead in all of them, which means she's also killing her. Which means she's also killing the self that exists in that world if she's maintaining herself, or she's merging with it, which is clearly not the case because she doesn't realize what variables are in place when she gets into a new body. So she's not only killing herself in the alternate world every time she hops timelines, but she's also or she's killing the soul of the person who's in that alternate world, because if she was merging with them, she'd vaguely remember what the variables were. Um, so she's actually killing herself, and then everyone else in the world dies 99% of the time. That's unfortunate. So it is more or less RNG, or almost fixed that everyone dies. Bit unfortunate for everyone in the town. Generally better if you just don't go here, because this place is actually cursed by fate, as it means 99.9% of the time anyone who goes to that town could just randomly die. Seems like a shitty place to be. Explains it in the OVA. She's actually jumping worlds and becoming. Okay, she's actually jumping worlds. Well, that sucks. Well, that sucks. Doko and Rika and everyone else worked so hard. I'm sorry, Rika. You were brave enough to ask for help. I couldn't save you. Doko held my shoulders and cry. There you go. If you want actual depression, this means that every world you see is true, and that they are the vast majority of of worlds. So yeah, Takano kills a ton of people and probably goes on to kill another whole village or something. She's kind of crazy. I worked so hard, but it still didn't work out. Thank you. Thank you all so much. I'm gonna die again, but I never felt so good about it. So the end result is that what, Japan gets an untraceable, undetectable chemical weapon that drives everyone insane, and they conquer the world, killing everybody else on the planet. Seems like a good world to end with. Okay, since that was the goal of Tokyo, right? So that would be like an easy way to write off all of these worlds as lost belts, as just about everybody is dead, and they're not going anywhere. Explains why Keiichi and Reina have a small glimpse of their past worlds. Yeah. Yep. Yes. Hoping that it would be anything other than world hopping is copium, but it could be time travel. Time travel would give you a glimpse of your past world. Could theoretically do that. You learned so much. Rika, I know. I know why the miracle didn't happen in this world. Rana spoke gently, but she wasn't smiling at all. Did everyone really believe we could create a miracle? We're hoping for a future, but not everyone believes in it. A miracle won't happen. What do you mean, Rena? Takano doesn't need to hope for a miracle. You're two opposing forces, but one person only ever needs to make a miracle. I don't think you need to have everyone wish for that. You're reunited. No one had doubts we could overcome this fate, right, Mion? Yeah, he's right, Rana. Everyone thought we could overcome it. Everyone believed we could. That's quite true. Even Rika believed it. She finally believed that with our help, we could change our destiny. I believed it too, but I think there was someone who didn't believe. Who could that? Who would that be? Who could that be? Who could possibly be an unbeliever? Who do we possibly have to convince to help us, who has literally never helped us or even lifted a finger to be useful in their entire existence, and has also only conveniently existed for just this chapter, so no one could ever have predicted this? Who could it be? Hey, you. Rena turned to Hanyu and asked her a question. Did you believe? Do you believe we could overcome this fate? If you can't talk to us or touch us, you can still believe. If you believed in us, the miracle would have happened. Would something really have changed if I believed? I'm a powerless existence. I can't do anything. All I can do is watch and accept. Why does she say she's useless? She's a literal She can literally just go scouting. Like, I don't get that. Hanyu says she's useless, but you know what would be really nice? If they scouted and could find something. Like, you have a literal invisible scout. I don't know if she can only move as fast as her little legs can carry her, or if she can fucking teleport. But being able to just wander around into places that no one else can see, get information that Rika has no way of attaining, seems really useful. Like, it's really easy. It seems really easy to just, like, set her to tail to Kano. You reset, and you're like, tail to Kano. Literally do nothing. If she does anything relevant, come back and tell me. Like, tail to Kano. Give me everything she has. And, like, the minute she does something we can act on, we have to tell her. Like, okay, they're going to this building. This is where this happens. Like, you have literal Ghost Girl. Like, I don't know why Rika didn't do that. Like, she's investigating the murders and be like, okay, I suspect these 10 people. Hanyu, literally do nothing but follow this person. Like, the murder happens. It's like the murder of Tomitake happens, you know, between the time we last see him and like, something else, right? Between the time we last see him and the time the body is discovered. Hanyu, you're a literal fucking ghost. Follow this guy like you follow me around, and just tell me the second something happens. Like, if he gets attacked, tell me who attacks him. If he gets injected with a poison, tell me who gets poisoned. Yeah, because Hanyu doesn't believe in miracles, that's why she's being a bystander. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, Rika should be way more pissed at Hanyu for not being useful and trying to help her out, because you should just tell her, like, okay, this guy's gonna die. I don't care what we do for the rest of this loop, but your goal should be to stalk to Tomitake and let me know who kills him. Or what happens. That's all we need to know. We can escape this fate if we knew, like, can you imagine? The first route, you're like, okay, I want to solve this guy's murder. So we're not remembering our own death. What about the other deaths? There's other people dying. Stalk Takano, or Tomitake, or Takano. Literally just follow them around after the time we part from them. You know, you should be able to figure this out after, like, the third or so try. You're just like, I have a ghost girl. Stalk him. Just follow them. It's going to be 3 hours. Come back to me what happens. Tell me what happens. And she tells us what happens, and we go, okay, we know how they die. Problem solved. We don't need to do a murder investigation. Literally, like, how is that not the most useful trait ever, being able to just get information of whatever's going on? That seems insanely useful. But I don't actually know if, like, Hanyu can, because she says she could observe other things, and she could observe what was going on in the world before Rika was alive. And it was only through Rika she's able to talk to her. So clearly she has, like, her own independent presence. So it's not like she's tethered to Rika. On the other hand, if it is an illusion created by Rika to make her think she has a friend who understands her problem or something, which is very possible, then she isn't real and it doesn't fucking matter. But I'm saying, like, I can't believe we went through this entire arc and not a single point did Hanyu ever do anything useful. Like, all she had to do, like, even just for shenanigans, maybe there's a limited area where Hanyu can move only. That doesn't make sense, unless it's, like, the Shrine Grounds, maybe. It could just be the Shrine Grounds, but they did run off Shrine Grounds in the end here. She could be restricted to Shrine Grounds. That's possible. Can't be too far away from Rika. She can't be anchored to Rika, because she existed before Rika existed, and couldn't interact with anyone for thousands of years. Which is why I think she should be, like, the most useful person ever, because she can just wander wherever she wants to. And get information. If nothing else, I would have liked to see... See, I'm not sure if she's a real person. And here's why. I didn't see a single instance in the show where or in this arc, even for laughs, where Rika uses Hanyu's ability to be in a separate place from Rika to get information. Like, she didn't have to do anything funny. She could just be like, oh yeah, I can predict your fortune. I can predict what fortune you got from this fortune cookie. And the kid's like, oh yeah, try it. And then she has, like, Hanyu run behind the kid and literally read his fortune off. Like, something simple like that, where she just flexes on people. She's like, oh yeah, you got, like, a bowl of fortune cookies. And she's like, pick one, I'll tell you what you got. And She doesn't need to know what it is because Hanyu just tells her. That would be like a great example where we see what she can use, and then like we know that she's real because she's gathering information she couldn't possibly generate even with like having guessed what they were getting. Because she's like, well, more than likely, either she's guessing or like Hanyu tells her. But it seems like Hanyu may or may not exist in the first place because she doesn't actually possess new or unique information independent of Rika that we've told her, other than like, oh, the ritual wasn't originally this, which could have been something she read in a history book or her parents told her a long time ago. So I'm like iffy on like whether or not Hanyu is even a character right now. I feel like they should have done something that proves her existence instead of simply stating she exists. Oh well. You're saying I could have made a miracle by believing? You could have. Keiichi stated it clearly. He wasn't trying to blame her, he was just stating the truth. That's right. There were 6 of us, and there were 7 of them. You'd believe us, we would have numbered 7 souls. The miracle could have happened. You don't make miracles happen by touching something or saying something. You make them happen by believing. Hanyu realized that this ending wasn't caused by fate. It was because she didn't believe. In other words, it happened because she was so weak as to accept this fate, and she started crying again. I don't even know your name. You'll need to be brave enough to fight this fear and pain. You have to have courage to beat fate. You believed we'd be moving on to a bright future. Your refusal is the sole reason we couldn't reach it. Responsibility is yours. It was hard to believe Rana could say something so harsh. Her words were piercing Hanyu's heart, but they were necessary for both of us. Only faith can create a miracle. That sounds like something you'd hear in a fairy tale. It's not easy to put it into action. People suspect others. They don't trust others. It's easier not to have hope. It's so difficult to believe. That's why faith can make miracles happen. Don't you realize I can't even touch people? I can't even speak to them? You still think I can make a miracle happen by believing? Listen, you're talking to me right now. I've never talked to you before. I always knew you were there. I was always thinking about how I could communicate with you. I always knew you were watching when you were all hanging out together. But even though I want to be involved, you can't see me or hear my voice. You'll think I'm a monster or something. I don't want people to think of me as a monster. We'd never think of you that way. If you're with us, you're our friend. Oh, you wouldn't call our friend a monster. Oh my goodness, it's getting really late. It's your heart that determines whether or not you're a monster. Right, Shion? Indeed. I guess I'm more like a monster in that sense. You wouldn't call me a monster even though I have horns on my head. I won't call you that because of the way you look. You're actually cute, you know? Watch out for Randa, she might try and take you home. I realized then I was standing with everyone, looking down at my own body. I see, I'm finally dead. I looked at my bloody body by my feet. It upset me Takano was still enjoying the torture, but the body that remained was nothing but a shell. Are you alright, Rika? Don't you think it's a bit strange to ask that question to a dead person? Everyone smiled wryly. It's my first time feeling so much love and death. Everyone's already dead. That's why I feel so happy to be dead, to join them. Suddenly the world got darker and my body started sinking downwards. I could feel myself disappearing. I still had the sensation of my friend's hands on mine. Let's go. Go, you're also one of us. Come on, stop crying, let's go. My vision had gone dark, but I could still see. Somehow, Rana offered her hand to Hanyu, and Hanyu slowly took it. Hanyu, I don't know what exact experiences you had before we met, but I'm sure my friends will accept you. Still gonna be fun if I'm involved? You sure they'll accept me? Yes, come on with us. Rana touched Hanyu's hand. It felt like everyone else laid their hands on top too. If only they had hands to do so. Let's go, Hanyu. Let's accept this sorrow so we can embrace joy as well. Believe in the bright future that's waiting for us. The miracle will happen. We'll obtain it, okay? Hanyu said so with a definite nod. Yeah, it feels like Hanyu not being easy. What's outside the well? Is it worth fighting for? What's outside the well? Is it worth getting hurt for? What is outside this well? Well, I'm gonna fight and get hurt in order to find out. I'm sure what's waiting is a beautiful world. Even if I get to the bottom of the well again, the key to the new world is my willingness to get out of here. Even if I can get out or not. I'll eventually get to the new world. Alright, it's time, Hanyu. Chapter 8, Hanyu finally steps the fuck up. They pushed the everyone needs to believe in a miracle so hard that it was getting a little bit obvious that Hanyu was not participating or helping. That and the, like I said, the lack of her doing anything useful whatsoever in the chapter. We're actually getting a full set of credits. Interesting. Typically, we don't get a full set of white credits that aren't skipped. I'm kind of intrigued. Ending was alright, though. Yep, this isn't like a left-click skippable series of credits. It's just going, oh. Well, it'll be a good case for fast-forwarding. I can hear the sounds of the Higurashi above the piano. So, I'm thinking, we do the extras and start part 8 on Saturday. How's that sound? How's that sound? Extras and 8 start Saturday. Oh, as well as the last tip, assuming we get one more tip. That seems to make sense. As it's way later than I usually like to go. But, I'm not complaining about how late we went. Well, maybe a little. That was worth stretching a 30 minutes for, I think. It's a good chapter. Pretty solid ending, and yeah, we saw how the ending plays out from Rika's perspective on a slightly more progressive line. Seems like she just has her memories wiped of the last day. We'll see how far she actually rewinds on the 8th round. I'm thinking it's very possible she actually rewinds less on the 8th chapter because she got everything right. Emergency Manual 1. If the existence of a terminal patient, L5 is confirmed, Institute Director must resolve the situation before the L5 engages in antisocial behavior. They must ensure the secret remains hidden. To that end, the Director may also request assistance from Secretary or Secrecy Preservation Unit. As for the Secrecy Preservation Unit, they may request permission to fire from Institute Director if necessary. All efforts should be made to secure a Level 5 subject alive, but if it proves obstructive to maintaining secrecy, their life may be forfeit. I don't see where the torturing people to death came in, but that's okay. At all times, maintaining secrecy and preventing exposure will be of the highest priority. However, preserving secrecy takes priority over preventing exposure. Emergency Manual Appendix 9 FAQ. Can Emergency Manual 34 be administered if an outbreak occurs, putting matters beyond the control of the Secrecy Preservation Unit? Additionally, is the Director responsible for determining what constitutes out-of-control situations? If an accident occurs and hazardous material is exposed to the public, can Emergency Manual 34 be administered? Yes. If an accident occurred and the nature of the Institute is revealed to the public, the Secrecy Preservation Unit will take steps to resolve the situation. However, if this information is spread too widely, can Emergency Manual 34 still be administered? Additionally, is the Director responsible for making that decision? Yes. The decision to execute Emergency Manual 34 must be carefully deliberated and sanctioned by an official. However, in the case of emergency, does the Institute Director have the right to make the final decision? It must be sanctioned by an official at all times. However, the Institute may petition the urgency of its use to an official. Emergency Manual 34, reproduction or removal is prohibited. This manual may only be read by those with appropriate permissions. You know what? I'm still like kind of confused why torturing someone to death is part of their like brilliant plan. But we might see an explanation in the 8th chapter. This manual will only apply upon approval by the highest authority. Nothing short of official authorization shall count as approval. Furthermore, those authorized to apply this manual must make their decision as soon as possible when it's read. Oh, sorry, never mind. I forgot that the Japanese like to torture their prisoners to death. My bad. Took me a minute to remember. They like to torture their prisoners, and they also like to do some crazy experiments on people, so why not? If the situation threatens to spiral out of control and the official exceeds this is the case, the Erie Institute must make the final decision to preserve the secret and prevent its detection by others. I'm saying why not because they like Imperial Japan, and that's what Imperial Japan did. Not because Japanese people are crazy and they like doing that. By the way, that's what I'm saying. Like they worship Imperial Japan, so torturing random people to death that are under their control is perfectly reasonable because that's what they already did in 1940s. That's why it follows. Following is an outline of how to execute the final resolution. Terminate all patients above level 2, destroy all evidence in the Institute, conceal the fact this manual was administered. Contents of this manual must be executed by Institute Director within 48 hours of the incident. There was no incident? If the Director is not available, the Chief Officer must execute it in his place. The Institute Director may demand support from the Chief Officer in executing it. If this manual is expected to be executed, the Chief Officer may issue the orders. The final resolution must be executed in the following steps. Disguise it as a natural gas disaster and quarantine the area. Quarantine unit must disguise themselves as police officers and isolate the region from the outside world. Official explanation must be a gas disaster in the village. The equipment for operation will be stored in a vacant lot where the quarry used to be. The equipment must undergo routine maintenance. In the event of external breach or internal escape, if they don't respond to notice of the gas disaster, use of firearms is authorized. Approval to use firearms given by Chief of Secretary of Preservation Unit, the Traffic Blockade Unit. Okay, so that doesn't explain why they did this, though. Shutting down communications. Communication sabotage unit must ensure all forms of communication, including radio, are disabled in Hinamizawa. They have to take care not to fall under suspicion, and communications must be disrupted for a minimum amount of time. Tomorrow, my dude. Facility belonging to the telephone company is inside the traffic blockade, so any civilians inside may be shot and killed. The Chief of the Secrecy Preservation Unit may be given permission to use lethal force. To the Chief of the Communications Sabotage Unit, assembling the infected carriers. Secrecy Preservation must assemble the infected populace in the Hinamizawa Regional Disaster Shelter, refer to enclosed documents for gathering procedures. Upon assembly, count the number of infected, confirm everyone's present. Don't allow them to expose the true nature of the gas disaster, and the infected must not be allowed to bring any large personal belongings with them. They may take their valuables, including bank books and cash. Infected who refuse to assemble may be shot, but the Chief of the Secrecy Preservation Unit must consider the decision to do so. Terminating infected. Once they're assembled, terminate all the infected. Before that point, care must be taken to ensure they are not suspicious of the story of the gas disaster. Be sure they're treated as humanely as possible. If any problems occur, the unit has approval to fire their weapons. The Chief of Secrecy Preservation Unit must also make the decision. Bodies with gunshot wounds should not be placed together with those who have been poisoned. Concealment of the Institute. Gotta collect all the classified items in the Institute in order to suppress the evidence. Refer to the appendix for more detailed instructions. Research staff must assist with this operation. This unit must exercise extreme caution as they'll be handling a number of toxic substances. Strict quarantine must be maintained. In the concealment block, the airproof door must be welded shut and the underground area must be flooded. Entrance to the area must be welded shut and concealed completely. Furthermore, concealment block will be completely removed within 3 years. Institute concealment unit must eliminate all civilians who would try to approach the Institute. Use of firearms is not permitted unless emergencies. The Chief of the Secrecy Preservation Unit may give the order to fire. Okay, I'm reading this, but I still haven't seen... Their conditions for activating was like, if things get completely out of hand and the village is going mad, you just go ham and like shut everything down. But that's not exactly what happened in any of these cases. Searching the village. They must search the village for survivors. Anyone not present during the assembly must be found. Survivors, after the termination of the infected, must be shot immediately. If the survivor is willing to surrender, don't shoot and take them into custody of the Secrecy Preservation Unit. They must then terminate the captive using the same method for the other infected. Post-mission transfer to General Forces. Transfer the job to the official disaster recovery team. Make sure not to arouse suspicion. Complete withdrawal after the completion of the operations. The secrecy unit will retreat from the Hinamizawa area. They must be careful not to be suspected by a disaster recovery team. Furthermore, the Institute will continue to secure the concealment block until complete removal is finished. Okay. Reading your carriers. Oh my goodness, it's still going. Assume that the pathogen has the same characteristics as creatures such as ants. There's a queen. Like there's a queen ant. This position has been passed down the line of the Furudes. The assumption is made based on the legends and ancient writings passed down in the village. It's already confirmed the carriers have a tendency to protect their queen. Additionally, the queen carrier can only survive within the boundary of the village. Probability of outbreak. As patients will become ill when they travel far away, it's assumed the further and longer they are away, the higher the chance of symptoms occurring becomes. Mental state plays a strong factor. It's estimated those who are especially unstable or show strong yearning for home likely to exhibit symptoms. Believe that the Takano relaxation method is the most effective means of suppressing symptoms. If the patient shows no improvement, only returning them to their home and their queen will be effective. Concerning terminal patients, as they suffer from an extreme persecution complex, are incapable of functioning. But I mean, they have a cure. I don't get that, but you know. Cases of arson and murder are confirmed. They present severe problems to their units. Records show terminal patients appear in Hanamizawa. And they won't recover even if relocated nearer the queen. Therefore, the decision to dispose of the problem must be made as soon as possible. It's recommended the infected be quarantined before they behave irregularly. We suggest tracking those formerly from it and placing them under medical supervision. Collapse of the carrier community. For the aforementioned reasons, we predict should a queen carrier die, infected villagers will exhibit terminal symptoms on a village-wide scale. Terminal symptoms will show within 24 hours at the earliest, 48 at the latest, okay. Make the decision within 48 hours based on the size of the village. Neither ordinary officers nor the military may be able to control the chaos they bring. We believe the best response is to treat them as an armed anti-national uprising and suppress them with the military. January 1945 to Colonel Koizumi of the Supreme Council of Direction of War. From Ifumi Takano. Okay. Still going. June 23rd. Document E420 for the Self-Defense Commissioner. And TECOM 733. They're ordered to be on standby within 24 hours, armed for urban suppression. Company commander must thoroughly study Emergency Manual 34. Select personnel carefully with the preservation of secrecy in mind. Okay. Additionally, test the effectiveness of the vaccine with the support of the National Research Center of Infectious Diseases. Employ with those with positive immunity. Except they don't actually immunize people, so they're all going to die too. Okay. Document E7 for the 50th Director of NIHS. Attention Equipment Testing Company Commander 733. Alright. Infectious pathogens, Suite 13. Visual C limited. But syndrome. Okay. Disease caused by... Wow, we're still going. You know what? Okay. It's getting way too late. We're gonna have to wrap things up here. We'll finish it next time.